Hi guys. Oh, I just hit my dog. Didn't realize my dog was there. Sorry. Hi guys, my name is Sophie and I just wanted to post a couple of videos in regards to weight loss surgery. I had gastric sleeve gastrectomy on the 3rd of September 2018, and before that I did a lot of research into the surgery. I watched YouTube videos like until the sun came up. Honestly, I wanted to know the ins and outs of everything. I wanted to know. And now having the surgery, it's kind of brought me to a point where I'm like, a lot of the stuff, even the ones that say, you know, what you don't know about surgery or what happens after surgery, some of that they still don't talk about things that I've experienced as well. So everyone's different. Everyone experiences the aftermath of surgery differently. And obviously this is my experience, but I thought I would just talk to you and just give you my experience, because maybe that can help someone else in the future. So to start things off, so what happened was on the 8th of August, I went and saw it happened really fast, guys. It, like, from the point of booking it in and getting it done was within less than a month. So I live in Australia, so it's a bit different. I know it's very different over in America and stuff like that. So when I went and saw my doctor, that's when we discussed it, and she sent me a referral to a specialist that she's known for 20 years. So my doctor, I've known her for about 10 years now. So she knows my history with everything. Absolutely everything. So she knows my ups and downs, my yo-yo dieting. I just can't budge the weight. I'll get down to a certain weight through diet and exercise, and then I can't seem to get past a certain point. And the problem is, for me, I have to exercise about 2 hours a day, including eating good food, you know, nothing processed. Sorry, I just don't feel good. Hold on. Nothing processed. Yeah, just generally eating well. And I found that just over the years, it has got progressively worse to do that. And unfortunately, I work full-time, I study part-time. I don't have the ability to work out 2 hours a day. I can't do that. It's not feasible for me. And even though I would like to, I can't. And it's funny because over the years, I am one of those people where I go hard or I go home. So if I want to train for something, I will train so hard and then I'll get an injury. And that's what really kind of puts me off. It takes a while for me to get back into it, and it's just a big old bloody mess. Anyway, sorry for swearing. So anyway, the process was I went and saw my doctor, she got a referral, I went and saw my specialist that same week. So within 3 days, I actually went and saw my surgeon, and then within the day I saw him was the day it was booked in. So that was booked in for the 3rd. So I went and saw him, I think it was the 11th or something, and then it was booked in for the 3rd of September. So I had less than a month. You know, no amount of research will prepare you for the fact that from start to finish of seeing the surgeon and having the actual operation, you know, prepares you for that. So I'll give you an overview of what happened. I guess leading up to it and the surgery. So leading up to surgery date, I just had to see my dietitian. I didn't have to see a psychologist. I didn't have to do any of those other things that some other surgeons make you do. And I didn't have to do a liquid diet because my liver wasn't fatty. I didn't have a fatty liver, and apparently, look, I don't know this. I'm not a surgeon, but I was just told that if you're not a big drinker and you're not a big smoker, and you don't have heaps and heaps of trans fats and stuff like that, your liver is usually not as fatty, but sometimes it can be genetic, so I don't know. I was told I didn't have a fatty liver, so my dietitian just put me on a keto diet, which is just very low carb, high protein, fats, everything like that. So I was just on that for 2 weeks, and I was really grumpy. Like really grumpy, because the problem was you get this idea in your head, and I remember seeing it on YouTubers' videos, and you get this idea in your head where you're like, oh my God, I need to have my last meal of everything before I do my diet. So I was having, I would have, you know, a pizza, I would have kebabs, I would do everything. And even in that 2 weeks of the keto diet, I did cheat, and I feel bad about that. I did cheat because, you know, it doesn't sound very good when you're trying to change your ways. And I just remember one day I had a really bad day at work, really bad. And I just went, screw it, and ordered Uber Eats, and I got a kebab for dinner. And I remember as I was bringing it through the front door, I was like, Sophie, you need to learn to change your habits now, because in 2 weeks' time, you're not going to be able to do this anymore. You've got to learn how to deal with your emotions. And I guess that's a big thing for like a lot of us that undergo weight loss surgery is, you know, we do have a weird affiliation with food. So it's not easy. You know, it's very difficult to break that bond, and it's like a little blanket. Food is like a blanket for a lot of us, and we can't help it. It's one of our coping mechanisms, you know. And yeah, it's a good idea to, you know, go seek help and see a psychologist and all that. Unfortunately, I know what my relationship with food is. I know it back to front. I know exactly what it's about. I do know. And for me, the reason why I got the surgery was I'm definitely one of those people where if I can still eat, you know, 2 massive kebabs in a row, even though I know what my problem is and I'm trying to work through it, I will still do it. If I have the ability to, I will still eat that and then feel remorseful. So if that's taken away from me, I can't. I can't even do that. Like, oh, you should see how much I eat now. It's ridiculous. Nothing. So yeah, so that's something that I think a lot of us have to deal with. And seeing a psychologist is one of the best things you can do. Is to go and see them and work through that. I just know in my head how I can deal with it best, and why that surgery was the better option for me. So I guess now, talking about it, we'll go to the day of pre-admissions. So the problem that I had, so the day of pre-admissions was basically you go see a surgeon, they check everything's all good, they give you your scripts and everything before surgery. You go to a certain part of the hospital and they check everything's fine for the day of admission, do all that, and they do blood tests. And it was very overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. I went alone. I just thought, I'm very independent. I do things myself, so it's very hard for me to ask for help. I just went alone thinking, yep, this will be fine. And it wasn't until I got in the car and I had been through everything, seen the nurses, seen the surgeons, did everything like that, and I was just like, this is a lot. This is a lot to go through. And I didn't actually make it into work that day. So I was meant to go to work that afternoon, and honestly, I couldn't be around anyone. It was just really painful to think about. And then the day of surgery came, so by the way, I have the full support of my family. My mum and dad fully support me in what I was doing. And I remember they came around that afternoon after the pre-admissions, and I kind of just broke down and I started crying, and I was scared, as you would be. You know, it's a normal human reaction to be scared. And then the day of surgery came, and I was admitted for 9 a.m. So I had to be there by 9 a.m. And that was the 3rd. And I was fine. I didn't sleep too well. I woke up and I was okay. I got to the hospital with mum, started filling in the forms, and I was like, right, yep, all good. And then as soon as they said to me, right, it's time to take you up, like it was pretty quick, like instant pretty much. As soon as I got there, they took me up. Normally you kind of wait a little bit. They took me up to like the actual waiting area, and mum could come with me. And I remember just bawling my eyes out because I was so scared. See, I'm getting emotional about it now. I was just like, you know, everything's going through your head. Is this the right decision? Should I be doing this? You know, what's life going to be like afterwards? You know, all the normal things that you would think about, because weight loss surgery, I know some people think it's an easy way out, but it's not. Guaranteed, it is not. It never will be. And whoever believes that it is, you've got rocks in your head, because it's not easy. It's a hard road. And then so they took me away when they called my name, and my mum stayed in the hospital all day. She just waited until I came out. And then I changed into my surgical gown and all that. Just FYI, I know this is too much information, but sometimes, like under these circumstances, you can get, like for a female, you can get your period, and I did. I got mine a week before, and it just never left. It just didn't go away, and that's just from stress. Yeah, so they took me in, and and in the hospital I went to, my surgeon, they make you walk into the operating theatre, literally. They don't wheel you in. Excuse me. They literally walk you in to the theatre. So they put a blanket on me, and the anaesthetist nurse walked me down the hall, and I can tell you that was the scariest moment. I saw the big doors in front of me, and I saw the little pigeonhole windows, and I saw the staff all in there because it was all lit up, and I had a panic attack. I had a really big panic attack. I turned around, I started hyperventilating. The anaesthetist nurse was trying to calm me down, and then we eventually walked in, and my anaesthetist came straight round to me, and he's like, all right, just get on the bed and I'm going to give you something to relax because we're still waiting for your surgeon. And I was like, okay. And he instantly gave me an IV of something, and I kind of relaxed, and then that was it. I was out. The next thing I remember was waking up in recovery, and I can't tell you how much pain I was in. I was in so much pain, and I was in recovery for 2.5 hours. See, the normal recovery time is like 45 minutes. People stay in recovery, or an hour at the most. I was in recovery 2.5 hours. And it was just horrible. I remember them telling me to open my eyes and getting me to tell them the scale of pain I was in, and it was unimaginable. I actually said to them, I don't want to open my eyes at one point. I was like, I don't want to open my eyes. I don't, because I was just so scared. And they just kept feeding me morphine and ketamine, something else through my IV, just to help the pain I was in. And so after 2.5 hours, I came out of recovery, and they wheeled me up to my room, and I wasn't in too much pain after that. I was pretty good. And then my mum I felt my mum touch me on the shoulder as they're wheeling me out of the elevator. And so went into the room, and then, yeah, I spent 2 nights in hospital. The first night, they always talk about gas pain and the gas pain that you go through. And that's a pain in the bum, because you just got to keep like getting up and walking, but like you're hunching over, because like you get stitched up. So they stitch, like where they take the stomach out, they stitch the internal to part of your muscle, so it just doesn't rip or anything like that. I don't know. So it was really hard to like stand up straight. I couldn't. Anyway, so the first night I was there, I really tried to get up and moving. All I had was water. I couldn't stand the recovery drink they were giving me. It was so sweet and disgusting. And the soup, the soup in hospital is bad. Is so bad. But so my first night in hospital, and then the second day came, and it was so funny. The second day came, and I was like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I feel so good. You know, I'm getting up, I'm walking, been to the toilet, all that stuff. And I was going, you know, when can my surgeon see me? Because, you know, I think I can go home today. And then I hit a wall. At 11:30 or 11, I hit a massive wall. It was just astronomical. It was part of the anesthetic had worn off, for starters. And then B, the gas pain really set in. And then the pain just internally set in. And then the nausea, that was the worst of it. I can't stand nausea. Ugh. So I hit a massive wall, and I was in bed, I had to be fed through my IV, like all these different drugs to try and make me feel better. And I think that was honestly, that was my worst night, was the second night. That was horrible. And I tried getting around. I had a couple of friends visit me, and I got around and walked around and all that. But yeah, that was pretty tough. So best thing I can tell you is walk, but don't do too much. And if you need pain relief, always ask for it when you're in hospital, just always. Before it gets to the point of where it really starts hurting, when you start feeling that discomfort, that's when you need the pain relief, because I kind of lost that a bit when I was in hospital. I was like, no, I'm fine. Then all of a sudden, I'd be in a lot of pain. So that's when it takes a lot longer for it to settle down again. So yeah, I would definitely do that. And then when I finally got to the third day, so actually no, so that night the pain started easing off a bit. Like my nurse said, all right, peppermint tea. You need to start drinking peppermint tea because that will help with the gas pain too. So I was doing that. Because they won't let you leave unless they know your fluids are up. And because I was feeling so sick and all that, I wasn't eating, I wasn't doing anything. So I really tried that night, and my nurse was on me. My nurse was really strict. She's like, I want to see all that finished by the time my shift ends. And I was like, right, okay. So I managed to get some soup down. We were given these Sustagen packets to drink from, and that really helped actually. And then by that night, I remember just laying in bed and I was like, I've got this really, it hurts like right there. Like it really hurts. And I said to her, I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it hurts. Stupid me. You'll know in a second why. And she's like, all right, I'll go get you some drugs to help you sleep through the night. And then all through the night, oh my God, like, oh, the pain. So what I didn't realize until the next day when I started drinking and stuff, and I was talking to the nurse, every time I had a sip of something, I had really bad indigestion. See, I've never had indigestion in my life, surprisingly. I've never had it. So I don't know what it actually feels like. That's why when I said to her the night before, I was like, I don't know what this feeling is. It just hurts. It's like having a big brick here. And, oh. And that's when I was told it was indigestion. So I had to like have Gaviscon and stuff like that. But then by midday or 11 a.m. or something, I was discharged because I was doing a lot better. And yeah, so that was my experience from start to the end of hospital. So if you do have any questions, please comment below. This is obviously my first video. Honestly, it's just to help others that might be going through this. Oh, I'm burping. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah, just to help others go through, this process. Yeah, so I hope it helps. Anyway, comment if you like it. Give me a like and that'll share my video around and maybe help someone else as well. Awesome. See ya.